Yo, what's going on, guys? Matty here. Q&A coming from the Facebook fan page. We're going to jump right into the questions. Got my new stand-up desk that I put together. Really excited for, actually. But it wouldn't be a Q&A without someone asking the question. So thank you, Mr. Eric Hancock. Do you even lift, bro? I've addressed this many times in previous videos. I've never lifted. I've never seen the inside of a gym. And who is dumbbell? First real question, King Julian, how much does terrible nutrition affect training benefits? It depends what you mean by terrible nutrition. Are you asking, can you not track your macros or track your nutrition and still see benefits in the gym? Still get an impressive physique? You absolutely can. Is it optimal? Absolutely not. So you can eat shit all day long and still get bigger and get stronger. But when you do track your nutrition and you're on top of it, it gives you a variable, it gives you something to adjust. So when you're not seeing results, but you're doing everything you can in the gym, you'll know why. So combining proper nutrition and proper training will give you the best of both worlds. Stefano Mostaller, how should my head position be during squatting and deadlifting? Is it okay to look a bit upwards? Now there's a lot of debate about this and people like to throw their opinion around, so everyone's going to give you a different answer. I see that way too often people hyperextend their neck when they look up. Now one of the biggest cues you hear when squatting is chest up. So we want to keep that chest up when we're squatting so we don't collapse and fall forward. The problem is their head tends to follow, or they use their head as a cue to bring their chest up. So by hyperextending their neck and looking up, it forces them to bring their chest up. The problem is it will throw off their balance. So if you're looking too high up like this, it might force you to be too vertical to the point where you almost start to fall backwards. So if you want to look up with your eyes and not necessarily with your head. So keep that neutral head, look up with your eyes. It will help you thinking about bringing your chest up, but keeping your core tight. Because again, the body likes to follow what the head does. So if you hyperextend with the neck, you'll probably end up lengthening your abs and losing that tight core throughout the lift. And the same goes for deadlifting. If you're extended too much, you're not going to be as tight. So I like to recommend that neutral head position, and if you want to look up with your eyes, do that. But again, it's going to come down to how you perform best. So every individual has their preference, and if you're performing the lift correctly without getting injured, you're probably doing it right. Mano Raj, how do you manage deadlifting with your lower back disc herniation, and what are your plans to cope with it? Now for those who don't know, I have 3 herniated discs in my lumbar spine. I had to take a long time off from complete lower body training. I went through physical therapy, I went to my chiropractor, and slowly started to incorporate deadlifting back into my routine. Starting very light, learning the movement again, and just progressing from there. Now just because I did that doesn't mean someone else can. Everyone has a different severity of disc herniations or injuries. Everyone should see their own professional and get their advice, and it should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. So someone can have a complete messed up back and be deadlifting and squatting because they were cleared to, or they're okay to, or they don't care, where someone else might not be able to do any lower body training. So it's got to be evaluated according to the individual, but I recommend seeing a professional. So just because I'm deadlifting now and I have herniated discs doesn't mean that you should be. Alright, Marlon Solano, cardio before or after lifting? Now I always recommend people do a warm-up prior to lifting, maybe 5 to 10 minutes on the bike, treadmill, or the elliptical, just something to raise the core body temperature, get the blood flowing, and get the muscles physically warmed up before training. Nothing more intense than that. No long jogs, no sprints, no high intensity before weight training. Because weight training requires a lot more energy, and if you start using that energy during your cardio, it's going to interfere with your training session. So keep them separate. If you're using cardio as a workout, do it after lifting or completely separate from lifting. Maybe cardio in the morning, training at night, or training in the morning, cardio at night. If you can't get to the gym twice a day or separate them, do your cardio after your weight training session. Casey Robertson, Matty, is there any negative points in a high fiber diet? I usually eat between 12 to 15 Weetabix every morning and was wondering if this could be affecting my results. Cheers. I'm not sure the nutritional content on Weetabix. I'm sure it's similar to like a Fiber One type cereal. My general recommendation to most people is about 10 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you consume. So if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, anywhere from 20 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Now that fiber should mostly be coming from your fruits and green fibrous vegetables, not Fiber One cereal and Quest bars. Now I have nothing against those products, but they're not a substitute for vegetables. And eating too much fiber can be a bad thing. So people think fiber, they think digestion, they think they go hand in hand and it works great. But you can have a negative effect on digestion if you consume too much fiber, and you might not be absorbing certain essential nutrients. So going too high is not a good thing, going too low is not a good thing. Keep it in that 10 to 15 per 1,000 range and you should be just fine. But again, focus on the fruits and vegetables. Alright, I can't read the name, but the question is drinking lots of milk, like 1 liter a day, and eating fruity yogurts causing bloating and puffiness? Very possible. Are you lactose intolerant? That could be the #1 cause of that. Your body just may not be able to process and digest dairy. So there are a couple things you could do. You can get tested for food intolerances, or you could just use food avoidance. Stay away from dairy for a couple of days and see how your body reacts to it. That's probably going to be your best bet. Unless you were eating too much to where your stomach was getting distended and you felt extremely full. But I don't think that a fruity yogurt should be causing puffiness and bloating. So I would just get tested for, see if you're lactose intolerant, or cut the foods out that are causing these issues for a little while and see how you react to them. Jurgen Smits, how to build the abs, short but heavy sets or long sets people do all the time? Long sets people do all the time? You're talking about someone like Usher, right, who does 1,000 crunches and has a six-pack? No. Just because you feel that burn by doing a ton of crunches does not mean that you are actually building and growing your abs. Abs are a muscle, just like a bicep, just like your shoulders. They grow, they respond to a stimulus. So progressive overload, getting stronger. So lifting with heavy weights is going to cause your abs to grow or hypertrophy. So do stuff like heavy weighted crunches. You can mix up rep ranges. You can go from 8 all the way up to 20. But doing 50 or 1,000 crunches a day with no weight is not really going to do anything. It would be the same as me doing this, flexing my bicep all day long, but there's no resistance to it. So that's not going to make my arm grow. Lifting heavier weights is going to make my arm grow. And it's the same thing for your abs. Ab flexion is not going to build your abdominal muscles unless you're giving it some resistance. So mix up the rep ranges and set ranges and just, lift with weight. Alright, we're going to take one more question. Cuba. How many calories during a deload week while bulking and while cutting? Personally, I don't think calories should change during a deload week, because if you are bulking or if you are cutting, you're taking in a certain amount of calories for a reason. Your body needs those calories for recovery. So let's say you're bulking and you're taking a deload week. The deload is to give your body a break, to take some stress off your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, your muscles, and just cut down the volume and the weights a little bit in the gym. But you need those extra calories during that week to recover properly. If you just cut down your calories during a deload week, you're also going to cut down the recovery process. So I recommend keeping the calories the same during a deload week. Now, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you enjoy these Q&As, please like the video and show your support. And I'm going to do a proposal for a YouTube Q&A. So this is for you guys. I know you always say, I don't have Facebook, so leave your questions down below on this video. And the next Q&A I do, I'll pick questions from the comment section of this video. So again, thank you guys for the support, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.